Okay, welcome to today's battle report. This is our second battle report from 6th edition. There are going to be two players, myself and Chris, against Trude. We are playing 2,000 points, and Chris and I are going to be allies. So we're using the standard ally rules, but we're not allied detachments of each other, we're just 2,000 point armies. We are playing the Purge the Alien mission. This is our battlefield today. We are also playing the new kind of like table corners mission. So Chris and I have already rolled and we get to choose the table corners. So we are taking this table corner here, and Trude is going to have to deploy over in that side.
Vanguard strike.
We have a bastion in the middle. It's a dilapidated bastion from the rulebook, and it has an Icarus las cannon on top if any of us can get up there to steal it. Bear with us again, this is only our second 6th edition game, and Chris and Trude have never played 6th edition, so we may get a few things wrong. Okay, so this is my 1,000 point army today. This is my first actual proper outing with my new Imperial Guard army that I brought to use as an allied force in my other armies, but as is always the way, I've bought too many models already and can field them as a proper army. So, starting at the back, we have a Primaris Psyker. He has already drawn for his psychic powers, and he has got the Prescience power from the Divination School. He is going to rock around with a company command squad. They have the company commander with a power fist, and they have 4 plasma guns. They're all going to be in a Chimera with a heavy bolter. Then we have a platoon command squad with 4 normal flamers, and they're going to be in a Chimera with a flamer. Then we have 2 standard infantry squads. Now, my heavy weapons haven't arrived from eBay as yet, so I'd like you to imagine, you're going to have to imagine quite hard, that these dreadnought legs are heavy weapon teams. They're the right size, but they don't look correct. Each of these platoons has an autocannon heavy weapon team and a grenade launcher, and they also include a commissar when they blob up to stop them running away. Then we have a Vendetta. It is armed with obviously all the las cannons from the Vendetta, and it also has heavy bolter sponsons. Riding around in that is going to be a veteran squad with 3 melter guns. And lastly but not least, we have a Lemon Russ. It's the standard battle tank version, and it has a las cannon. It may look like an Orky looted wagon, but the Imperial Guard have looted it back from the Orcs.
And here are my team coming to join with the Imperial Guardsmen, who also have a Molbo, who he forgot to mention. So there'll be some random appearing terrorist bombings going on. It's one of those things. Start on the left, got a Baal Predator with a Flamestorm cannon. Always good fun and games on the outflanking there. The bulk of the troops will be done by this tactical squad here, led by Tycho. They've got within them a melter gun and a las cannon. With the old snapfire rules, we'll see how that goes. Assault Marines with a Sanguinary Priest, Mephiston, no, he's just got a power fist, and a Flamer. Some Scouts for some finalising 1,000 points. They're cheap and they give you a heavy bolter and a bit of a objective holding and fun, which we're not got objectives, so what can you do? A Vanilla Dreadnought, Multi-Melter and Bloodfist, and a Rhino for some of these boys to charge around in. All in all, we'll see how they do.
And facing off against the human menace today, we have the mighty Eldar battle force. We have, leading all of this, Karandaras and his squad of 10 Scorpions, some of whom are looking slightly blue because they don't have enough models. They will be charging around in the Wave Serpent. The Wave Serpent has twin-link shuriken cannons, and it's upgraded its shuriken catapult to another cannon, and it's got some spirit stones in it. Then we have a unit of the ladies, who are also backed up by gentlemen who look nothing like them. They are running around in another Wave Serpent with spirit zones, except they have the missile launcher on them. A third Wave Serpent, which looks suspiciously like a fire prison with all its weapons removed, has a full unit of Dire Avengers in it. They have an Exarch with them who has Blade Storm, and he has 2 guns on him instead of the 1. Here is a tiny little unit of Dire Avengers who were there to make up the points, so I'm sorry boys, but you're going to die. a troop choice of Wraith Guard.
Cheese!
With the obligatory Warlock and a couple of chaps at the back who are pretending to be Wraith Guard. You're sensing a theme in this army. The second HQ choice is the Avatar, and yet again another substitution. We have 2 Wraith Lords with him. They both have Wraith Swords and Star Cannons on them, despite what it appears. My Warlord today is the Avatar, and he rolled quite uninterestingly, I'm afraid. He has the outflank ability.
Okay, so this is our setup. Over here, Chris and I have set up. We have our Lemon Russ here. That is the platoon command squad with its plasma. Sorry, company command squad with its plasma. As we've got a dreadnought. The scouts intend to make a rush for the bastion. We have the blob squad set up here with the 2 dreadnought fleets. Sorry, I mean autocannon heavy weapon teams set up in the ruins. We have the Flamer platoon command squad, and we have half a tactical squad with Captain Tycho inside their Rhino. The other half of the tactical squad are set up on the back here with their las cannon, and Chris and I have left our Valkyrie, Marbo, and Chris's assault squad in reserve.
And the Bile Predator.
And a Bale Predator coming on from outflank. Over here, true to setup, we have the 3 Wave Serpents with their contents. We have the small sacrificial lamb squad, I'm going to call it from now on, of 5 Dire Avengers. We have the 2 Wraith Lords and the Avatar ready to push forward with the big squad of Wraith Guard. Pretty scary. Trudy's going to attempt to steal the initiative. Let's see if she can do it. On a 6. She has not. Excellent.
Space Marine and Imperial Guard turn 1. It went reasonably. Our original plan was, let's get that first victory point for the first unit kill on the ground. Well, there's 5 Dire Avengers over there. They'll take them out in 2 seconds. As you may notice, there's still 4 Dire Avengers. That is after combined fire on a Leman Russ, a Chimera with the squad inside it, the scouts which are now hiding inside this building. 1 casualty. One of the Wave Serpents at the back has actually taken a hull point loss. The battle cannon from the Leman Russ deviated, hit it, and at least took a hull point off with a glancing blow. So it could have been a lot worse. Over here, the Wraith Guard unit has been whittled down considerably from the platoon command squad with their 4 plasma guns, all 4 hitting and 3 devastating wounds and some unfortunate saving by True. Took out 3. The Dreadnought assisted, taking out another one. The autocannons from within here did a glorious moment to save our shooting phase, really though, and took 2 wounds off of the Avatar of Cain with just standard autocannon fire. Otherwise, everything else is relatively untouched, but it was not a bad first turn. King's off Dreadnought.
Eldar turn 1. The vastly wonderful Avatar of Cain, single-handedly in one chuck of his Wailing Doom, took apart this bastion, killed most of the scouts inside. Sadly, there's still 1 left. Some excellent firing from the trio of Wave Serpents over here. Completely failed to do anything to the Leman Russ, but as you can see, there is no longer a Chimera on the board. Sadly, the unit inside have largely survived. Company commander has taken a couple of wounds. And that's it. We've all moved forward. Board is as you now see.
Okay, it's Blood Angels and Imperial Guard turn 2. All our reserves arrived. You'll notice down here the Assault Marines have come in. The Vendetta is jetted onto the table. The Bale Predator has come in where we wanted it, which is good. And down there you can see Marbo hiding in the trees. So we moved all that onto the board and then commenced firing. Marbo pulled out his demolition charge and lobbed it at the Avatar. Unfortunately, he wasn't particularly accurate, but he managed to clip the Wraith Guard squad and killed one of the Wraith Guard and also the Warlock, who was driving them around, which is quite good because these guys now have to check for Wraith sight, which is always useful. The Vendetta came on and took a plucky pot shot at this Wave Serpent here. Unfortunately, wasn't particularly accurate, managed to deal it a whole point damage. The Bale Predator was far more successful, moving on and flamering the Dire Avengers who are cowering here off the board. Our first victory point! The Assault Squad lobbed a crack grenade, did nothing to the Wave Serpent here, and the Lemon Rust tank was not particularly accurate, piling a big shot over here but scattering well off. Over here, the Blob Squad, who have now been joined by the Primaris Psyker, as he's a bit scared to hang around with the Platoon Command Squad because they're a bit small. He has joined with that squad, and they charged and fired. Sorry, they fired and did an order for bringing it down on the Avatar. Unfortunately, he made a few saves and we weren't that accurate still, but he has taken another wound. The two vehicles over here just shuffled about a bit, fired a little bit of fire into the Wraith Guard and the Avatar, but didn't really do a lot. And the Company Command Squad managed to take down 2 more Wraith Guard. Overall, not a brilliant turn shooting, but could be worse.
Eldar turn 2. The Wave Serpent spat out its entire unit of Dire Avengers. They opened fire on the Terminator Squad. They took off 3 of them. A 4th one was removed by a Wraith Lord with a Star Cannon turning round and realising they need a little bit of help. They haven't done enough help, so I'm afraid the Dire Avengers are likely toast next turn. Their Wave Serpent has abandoned them. The Wave Serpent filled with Scorpions has abandoned them. The Wave Serpent with Banshees is trying to sneak around this way, and everyone else is trying to sneak around this way. The Wailing Doom got thrown at a guardsman. Mighty. That's about it.
Space Marine Imperial Guard turn 3. It's continuing at the same sort of pace, some good, some bad. Let's see how it's gone. Over here, the Dire Avengers that were here and shot the Assault Marines last time are missing. Fire from the Bile Predator fried most of them, and bolt pistols, and then Hammer of Wrath attacks. The old Initiative 10 played a part there, finished them off. The Lehman Russ fired into the back over here with its template attack and didn't do much. It deviated, unfortunately, and sort of scratched a bit of paintwork, but didn't actually achieve a great deal. Combined fire from the Rhino and this Chimera, the Dreadnought, and the Valkyrie, and the last cannon over here finally managed to crack the Wave Serpent that was over there and spill out its guts of Howling Banshees, which you may notice are suspiciously absent. That's because we have found the new god of Warhammer 40,000, and that god is called Prescience and First Rank Fire, Second Rank Fire. The fusillade of fire that came from this blob squad here was redonkulous. And no Howling Banshees got to walk away from it. It was quite a glorious moment. A slightly less glorious moment, unfortunately, was Guardman Marlborough over here, who charged forward heroically, shooting his sniper pistol, doing a wound to this Wraith Lord. Then he charged into close combat, and unfortunately we sort of forgot about the Overwatch rule until he was here, and this Wraith Lord turned around and flamed him in the face somewhat horribly, and he died instantly. The Valkyrie discharged these troops who shot at that Wave Serpent to absolutely no effect, and this Scout Marine fired at the Avatar but missed horribly. Ultimately, over here, not that much has changed apart from the loss of the Howling Banshees. Otherwise, going according to plan.
Eldar turn 3. We disgorged some Scorpions who took a pop at these chaps over here, killing half of them. We chuffed the Wave Serpent over here and took out the Lance Cannon, which was all we wanted to take out. Everything over here, as you can see, has done an awful lot of damage to everything over here. So the Avatar chucked his sword at the now missing Dreadnought, which summarily exploded and took out the 5 nearest chaps around him. This Wraith Lord took a pop at this Rhino, which is now wrecked. This Wraith Lord ran in and mutilated this entire squad. He issued a challenge, which the opponent declined, so he evicted Captain Tycho from the combat, and his reroll on his Wraith Sword managed to kill everyone else in that unit. I believe I'm going to get challenged next turn.
So Tycho come down.
Okay, so it's Space Marine turn 4. So we started off the turn over here by firing our Lemon Russ at a massive squad of striking scorpions over here. We got a direct hit 9 of them. Somehow we only wounded 6 and then she made 3 of her cover saves. Pretty poor. So we take out a couple of those. The melter guns standing in front of them shot back here at the Wave Serpent, failing to do anything. The plasma guns here, they fired over at the Wraith Guard, took out one of their number. The big blob squad, we wanted to go for the older first rank fire, second rank firing guide again, but our orders were very poor this turn. We issued 3 orders this turn, all of them failed. Our psychic power also failed, so it wasn't quite as epic as we'd have hoped, but the torrent of fire still managed to take down the avatar that was standing here. Up here we have the good old Valkyrie. It shot at the Wraith Lord that was over there, killing it as well. Quite good. This just fired pot shots at the Wraith Guard, didn't hurt them at all. The Assault Marines over here sped forward, hoping to go for this Wave Serpent. They lobbed a crack grenade, didn't do anything, and then rolled charge distance. Chris got a double 1. Curse of the random charge distance. Over there, the Wraith Lord in combat with Captain Tycho managed to strike him, but the hit ricocheted off his deflection field, and he managed to strap a grenade to its forehead, but it made it save. So, overall, not the best of turns. Oh, one other thing, we knocked a weapon off with an assault over here against this Wave Serpent. Victory point wise, it is now 6 to us, 4 to Trude. So, not going so badly, but she is in our lines.
Eldar turn 4. The striking scorpions went in against the running Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard shot over their shoulder doing nothing, and so the scorpions ran in and completely destroyed them. Karandras didn't have to lift a finger. The Wave Serpent over here turned and shot at the remaining scout, who has survived since the bastion fell on his head and then died an ignoble death. The Wraith Guard took a crack at the Chimera and failed to do anything. Tycho is absent. Wraith Lord still on only 1 wound. The other Wave Serpent had another pop at the Chimera, achieving nothing. And that is the end of the turn.
Okay, it's Space Marine turn 5. It was a good one for the good guys. Well, I like to call ourselves good guys. The Eldar would probably disagree. So, over here we had our 4 Space Marines. They shot the back of the Wave Serpent and then assaulted in. Managed to wreck it. Excellent. Up here the Valkyrie took pot shots down at the Wraith Lord that had just killed Captain Tycho. It was a bit touch and go. We only got 1 wound through the las cannon, but the heavy bolters managed to score 1 wound and she failed her save. Excellent. Over here, the remains of the Plasma Command Squad shot at the Wraith Guard, killed both of them. That was really good. The big squad here got guided and first rank fire, second rank fire, and opened up on Karandras's squad with a hail of bullets, killing 1 striking scorpion. The Assault Marines over here hammered of wrath as they assaulted into the Wave Serpent and killed it with a hammer of wrath. Excellent. This took a couple of pot shots at the back of the Wave Serpent before it died. Didn't really do a lot. So at the... oh, he's pointing. Over here, this took a big battle cannon shot at the striking scorpions, scattered off the board.
And its last cannon missed as well.
Yes, so that was the end of Space Marine turn 5. We decided to tote up victory points, and we were 11-10 up. Because time is getting on, we decided we'd call it a day at the end of Trude's turn 5, and she decided that the best thing she could do was leave her striking scorpions here, thus scoring an extra victory point for ending with a choice in our deployment zone. Meaning it's 11 victory points each, so the game ends in a draw. So, guys, this was your first game of 6th edition. How did you think it went?
Very good. Yes,
I thought so.
Yeah, I haven't found a change of the rules yet that I don't actually like.
Yeah, there's loads of little loopholes that they appear to have fixed, and I really like pre-measuring of range. That's one of my favourite things they've added.
Is gorgeous, yes. There was one or two cases of wound allocation where it slowed things down slightly, but no more than you could get in 5th Ed when people min-maxed units. It was just accidental. More
it was mainly kind of like with the Exarchs, because they have different saves to the units they're with in some cases.
But that's the only thing that I think happened that wasn't better than a 5th Ed game, realistically speaking.
I do like the way that you are now forced to think about assaulting from a moving vehicle.
Yes, both of us struggled early game because we both had 2 units in vehicles and we weren't sure when to get out.
So yeah, but you do have to think a couple of turns in advance now, which is quite nice.
Yes.
And I find that because all the vehicles and the troops even can move further, it's a bit more of a dynamic game. Yeah. Because everything can move further.
Yeah, and I do like the rebounce where there's more shooting. Shooting has a bigger emphasis than assault against assault than it used to. It's been rebounced a bit more towards 50-50 because it used to be an assaulter's game.
Yes, I quite like not having to spend half my game marching up the board and getting killed before I get anywhere.
Yeah.
And I also like throwing grenades around like confetti. The amount of crack grenades I threw around in that game was hilarious.
Crack grenades much more interesting. What did you guys think of the mission and the secondary missions more importantly? I mean, the secondary missions were what gave Trude the win here today.
Secondary missions...
the draw at least.
Yeah, that's what recovered that draw quite nicely.
Yeah, because you got 2 more secondary missions than we did.
Yes.
So because we didn't deploy in her table half, or end in her table half, and we obviously didn't get the first kill, so even though we killed a lot more of Trude's army, she got those 2 extra victory points, which gave us the draw at the end of the game.
Yes. Absolutely clawed back from...
And I quite like the new deployment. I prefer that to the old spearhead.
Like that.
Yeah, because you can get closer, but you still can't get within first range charge distance.
Yes. Yeah, that was... the extra things do make you have to think about it more.
Obviously, once we get to know it more, we'll know the rules better and we'll be a bit quicker and such.
Considering we were looking up a lot of rules and that sort of thing, it actually hasn't taken us any longer than...
No, that's it. What did it take?
And slightly less
3.5 hours maybe? Which,
and
2,000 point game, that's perfectly fine.
Well, it's great. When we know the rules, it'll be even faster.
Yeah, that's it.
It seems more fluid, and Overwatch is good.
Overwatch is good, not overly powerful. Like, you always think, oh, they're going to shoot me, oh, I'm going to die, but actually, no, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
And the flyers weren't particularly broken because, I mean, the Valkyrie spent most of the game in hover mode because
he was about to fly.
Because Trude quite cleverly moved towards us. That meant if it kept on moving, it would just overfly her, and as it can't pivot at the end of its movement, it can't shoot in the back.
Yeah.
Power slide off the board.
Yes, overall, guys, excellent game.
Yes, I like that.
Yes.
Let's see you next time.